Welcome back to the Takeout. Welcome to the Conversation Corner. You've heard this. Since the assassination of Charlie Kirk, there have been persistent, passionate calls for some dimension, definable mention of unity in this country, and lots of rhetorical appeals to bring the rhetoric down, temperature-wise, and in its incendiary nature. Our next guest might, and I don't want to burden him with absolutely going to do it, but he might be able to lend a hand. Tim Shriver is the co-creator of something called the Dignity Index, which, if you haven't heard about it, is a way to score distinct phrases along an 8-point scale from contempt to dignity, with the goal of trying to bring us together, or at least find ways to use language that's less hurtful and less divisive. Tim, I'm glad you're here.
Thank you for having me.
Walk me through this index. How'd you come up with it, and how can it help people?
Well, I think the first thing we realized, and we've known this for some time, Americans know this, that we have a new issue in our politics, Major. I think the issue is how we treat each other. It's not just the issues around immigration or taxes or international affairs, but the issue of how we treat each other, the quality of our interactions, the ways in which we treat each other when we disagree. So we decided, because people say in politics, nobody responds unless you get a score, right? Classify me, tell me how I'm doing. Right. So we built a scale that you can actually score yourself. The most important person to score, as it turns out, is yourself, on a scale of 1 to 8. 1 being the lowest score. That means I use language that says you're not even human, you don't even deserve to live. Up to 8, which is no matter whether we disagree or not, I'm going to treat you with dignity. And in the middle,
and I accept your humanity, recognize it, understand that we're in this together at some level.
At some level. And in the middle, you'll see like a 5 is someone who says, let's have equal time. But a 7 is someone who is curious about your point of view, even when you disagree. A 2 is someone who just sees you as morally evil. And we've actually made this scale sophisticated enough that it's pretty accurate no matter what. It doesn't vary if you're a Republican or a Democrat or if you're young or old. It just gives you an objective level as to how you're treating each other. So we can look at our political leaders and we can look at ourselves. This is the real pain of this moment. Everyone's asking what happened. My question is, what can we all do? What can we all do to save, to help, to improve our country? And the first thing I think we can do is treat each other a little better.
Do people score differently, whether this is a face-to-face encounter or an online, therefore less face-to-face encounter?
The online space is a den of contempt. I mean, unfortunately, contempt gets rewarded by the algorithm. The more hateful, the more controversial, the more mean-spirited your language, the more you get likes, you get inquiries. So you have kind of the wrong incentive structure there. What human beings want out of each other, we want to belong, we want to be heard, we want to be understood, we want our ideas to prevail. All that gets lost online, I'm sorry to say. Face-to-face people, I think, are much better, but we're still struggling with this name calling. Like, how can we live in a country where I call you a fascist or a communist or disgusting,
a lunatic, a
Nazi, and we see this in this tragedy, where the language was being used even on the casings of
because language can lead to imagining, can lead to action,
and it also collapses the person. If you're a fascist, all of a sudden,
what do you talk about?
Maybe I should do something horrible to you. It becomes virtuous. This is how contempt works. It operates in disguise. People don't see themselves as contemptuous. I can scream at you, call you names, not because I'm contemptuous, because you are. I don't see myself. So this language, it sounds crazy to say that in response to a tragedy as severe and as horrible as this one small step is to change the way we speak about each other, the words we use. That's the experience I had. I was in Special Olympics for 30 years, still am, and we led a campaign to ask people to stop using the R word. Is it just a word? Actually, no, it turned out to be a corrosive cultural piece of hate. And people with intellectual disabilities would feel the word viscerally and painfully. So when people stopped using it, it liberated us in a way to see each other. Just that one word change. So I think words matter. The way we talk to each other matters. We should talk more to each other and less about each other. And we've got to relearn that to be American is to be a hopeful person and not a cynical one.
And try to center your language in a central question. Am I being contemptuous or not?
If we could have our political leaders, we've seen this from, I think Governor Cox has been an example here. You know, hasn't been perfect, but he's been an example.
Right.
And he's been open to changing his own language, and other governors, I think, are doing this. I think we really need not a unifying message, because there's moral equivalence on these issues. People will listen to this and go, wait a minute, I'm outraged by what he's doing or what she's doing. That's okay. You can be outraged. You can have your principles, but you don't need to be hateful. It actually backfires. It doesn't work. If you're passionate about an issue, here's the one thing you can do to make sure your issue doesn't prevail. Use contempt to describe the other person.
Right, because as soon as you deny someone's humanity, they'll deny yours, and we're all
at guarantees you won't
zero.
be successful.
Tim Shriver, thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.